Hello everyone, I'm Naval Yamal. So in this video, we are going to see what is Databricks file system, also called as DBFS in Databricks. DBFS is a distributed file system. It is mounted into the Databricks workspace and it is available on Databricks clusters. So you can just call DBFS as a storage layer. It is one of the storage layer, a virtual storage, so you can store all your files, all your raw files, everything on this DBFS. That is your virtual cloud storage that is provided by the Databricks. So you can refer this documentation for details about what do you mean by DBFS and what you can do with the DBFS. So you allows you to interact with the storage object storage using a directory and the file semantic instead of the cloud specific API commands. So you can just go through it and how you can interact with your Databricks. You can just see this. We are going to see that now, and we are going to see how you can mount from the cloud to your DBFS. We are going to see that maybe in the later videos. Okay, so in a simple and layman's language, you can call DBFS is a virtual storage that is provided by the Databricks. So let us go to the community edition and I'll show you how and where your DBFS is located. So you can go to the data view here, data tab. Here you get DBFS, but for the beginners or those who are opening at the very first time, you may not see this DBFS option here. I'll tell you how to enable this DBFS by UI, or you can go to data and you can click on this create table. Once you click on create table, you will get certain options like data sources, file upload, S3, that is Amazon's S3 storage account. So this Databricks Community Edition comes with an Amazon's S3, Amazon's AWS. So that's why they have providing this S3. But when you are logging into Azure Databricks, there you get only upload and DBFS. You didn't get other sources. So here that is your DBFS. You can call this as a virtual storage where you can store all your folders and files. You can see files, you can see tables. So these are all my raw files which I have stored in this file store tables. Okay, we'll explore more about DBFS. Then we can connect to other sources, like you can see the connectors, like you can connect with the Cassandra, Amazon's Kinesis, Snowflake, JDBC, Kafka, and all other sources. So this is DBFS. Now let me show you how you get this UI called DBFS. So once you click on this, it will ask you to select the cluster. So we haven't created any cluster, so let me just click Control and click. It will open a new tab automatically, or you can just say open it, you open in the new tab. Now let me create a cluster here. So create compute, so just give a name. So I'll give any name. It can be DBFS, and let me click on create cluster. So it will take few seconds to create a cluster. Let us see in detail like how to get this UI here in the data tab. So you can go to settings, go to admin console. In the admin console here you have workspace settings. If you scroll down here in advanced settings, here you get Databricks file system file browser enabled, but by default it is disabled. So you just by default it is disabled, so you need to refresh it to get your DBFS disabled. So this is a default view. I'll show you. So when you open it, this will be your default view. You will not get a DBFS option here. So if you want to enable it, so the same settings, go to settings, go to admin console, go to workspace settings, just scroll down. In the advanced options, you need to enable your DBFS file browser. So just enable it and just refresh it. Once you enable, just refresh it. So now you would able to see the DBFS tab in the data view. Okay, So yeah, cluster is also created. So let me click on DBFS. It will ask you to select the cluster. I will just select the cluster and confirm. Now you can see, these are all your directories, or you can call it as a folders, where you keep your files, file store, tables, and all this. Okay, so you can store data directly on this DBFS. It works like a storage also. So you can click on data, you can click on create table. I have opened a new tab, and you can click on this DBFS. Here you can see all the things similar to what we can see on this tab. Let us take a simple JSON file, or maybe any other file, and store it into the DBFS. We will read that file into our notebook, and we'll do some transformation and convert that into a structured one. So we are doing a transformation, converting your raw data. So we are converting your raw semi-structured data, structured data, that can be, for example, a JSON file, into a structured table. Structured data, I can take an example of structure as a table. Now this will be an end-to-end, complete end-to-end project. A simple understanding like how you convert your raw structured JSON to, sorry, semi-structured data JSON to a structured data. So let me first put that file into a DBFS. So I want to upload that file. Now let me show you that file, how it exactly looks like. So I'm actually, so we are looking at the data of a Formula 1 racing raw. So let us pick this constructors file. So if I open and show you, so you can see these are the records in a dictionary. Key value, key value, key value. This can be purely a semi-structured data, but I want this in a table. I want this to store it into a database later on. So how to convert that to a table? We are doing that with respect to Databricks. Okay, so let me just open my DBFS. I want to upload a file. So it is asking you for the directory, on which directory you want to upload your file. So I want to upload that file in file store, tables. I'll make a new directory here itself. So I'll make a directory like convert, or I'll just say a new name. Let me check. File store, tables, and let me take, so I'm creating a new directory inside the file store, tables. I'll call it as a first demo, and then once I provide the directory, it will ask me to drop a file here. So I'll just pick this constructor file from this, and I'll just drop it in my DBFS. You can see, you can drop it here, or you can just click it. Once you click it, you can also browse it there. Okay, you can click here and you can go to the specific path and browse it. Okay, so once you upload this, you got a new path here. So we need this path, or we can come to this path later on also. So let me come to workspace, and let me click on users, then come to a new folder like what we have created. Now let me create a new notebook, and I'll say that raw data to table. Okay, so I'll select a language called Python by default, and the cluster which is up and running is your DBFS. Let me click on OK. Now you will be getting a notebook. So we will see everything about how pyspark commands work. Now just listen like what exactly we are going to do. So first and the foremost thing is I'm going to create a data frame out of it. So how to create a data frame? So that is giving a name and just saying spark dot read, because we are creating a data frame from the data which we already have. So if you want to know how the syntax is, so let me go to Apache Spark documentation, Apache Spark documentation, and click on the latest release, go to programming guides, Python on Spark, then go to API reference. Here you have input and output. Suppose if you want to read, you can see data frame reader.json. So let me click on this. Now this is lot of documentation. We will be coming on this later on. But if you look at the example, you can see if I want to create a data frame, give a data frame name, just say spark.read.json and just specify the path. So this should be your path that should be enclosed in a string. Okay, your path should be in a string. Okay, so let me come to my notebook. Now spark.read.json. Now I'll specify the path. So that path should be in the string. So that's why I've given double quotes. So where is your path? Your path is here. Suppose if you missed that, no worries. You can go to DBFS. You can go to file store tables. So we have created a new folder called first demo, I guess, and here you have a constructor file. Just click on it. Here you can see your path. So you just copy that path, come to your notebook and paste it here. Okay, I have taken the syntax spark.read.json and just run this. So it will take few seconds to run this command. Yeah, it has executed. It is showing you how much time it took and who has executed at what date and time and on what cluster. So as we know that Spark is lazily evaluated, so whatever red we have used, that is a transformation. We have done the transformation, but to show the output or to see the results or to show the value, we need to take an action. So we either use dot show to an action, so it will invoke this transformation. So let me run this. Now you can see beautiful, your data frame is created. Now this data frame looks like a table only. Now you can call, is this a table? Yes, it is a table, but this is partitioned and distributed across different executors. Okay, now there is one more action you can take. Instead of dot show, you can use display also, display data frame, and let me run this. Yeah, you can see this. These are two similar output, but here you are getting, when you are using display, you are getting a neat HTML format. You can see a neat table here. This is how your raw data, that was a semi-structured JSON file. Let me show you. Raw structured JSON file is now in a good format. You can see this is a raw structured data. This is your first record, ID, your constructor reference, and your name of that person, nationality, URL. You can see here constructor ID, constructor reference, name, nationality, and URL. So now we will do some transformation on this. You transformation means, like, you can, if you want, you can change the column names, you can add a new column, you can drop a new column. If there are null values, how to handle null values, we are going to see all that in these videos or in these tutorials. Okay, so let me do one transformation. And if you ask me, like, can you get me a new column and that should have a timestamp, on which timestamp I'm doing this? Obviously I can do that. So now you may be not aware of all this syntax, but just concentrate on, you just see how the syntax works. We will see that in detail. Okay, so I'll take data frame name and I want to introduce new column. So the function, data frame function, would be with column, and I'm giving a new column name. That new column name is a current timestamp. I'll say current timestamp. Now it is the second expression is, or the second parameter inside the with column data frame function is your expression. What do you want in this new column? Okay, so that is current timestamp. I want current timestamp function. So actually current timestamp is a type of function, so we need to import that. So from pyspark dot sql dot functions, I want to import current timestamp. Oh, sorry, just a minute, I don't need this. Sorry, from pyspark dot sql dot functions, I need to write import. I missed it. Import current timestamp. Yeah, I missed it. So actually it is a functions, not function. So pyspark dot sql dot function, import current timestamp. Now actually this should be current timestamp. Now, so let me execute this. Yeah, it has executed. I think it has executed, you can see here, but this is a transformation. We need to take an action on top of this. So you can either use dot show after your transformation or after your data frame. Now you can see you got a current timestamp column, but I don't want in this way. I will take a new data frame. So we have seen theoretically that all data frames are immutable, so you cannot change this data frame again. So you need to create a new data frame if you want to do some transformation on top of that existing data frame. So let me run this now. So whatever changes we have done, that is in saved in a new data frame. So you either can use data frame 1 dot show, or you can use display. So I prefer display so that it looks it shows you a nice HTML format. So now you can see beautifully one column has been added as a current timestamp. You can see current date and time has been added. Now I want to make this, or I want to, now imagine that this is my final table, or this is my final data frame. I want to write that into my table. So in real time scenario, there can be any transformation can be applied. You can remove the columns, you can add new columns, you can do some extraction from this URL, or you can rename the column names like n should be capital here or anything like that. Okay, so now we have done only a simple transformation that added a new column by using a current timestamp. Now let us write this in a table. So how to write, let me show you the documentation on that. So let me go to input and output, and below this is all reader APIs, like how to read a data frame, like how to create a data frame by reading. And now we need to look at like data frame writer. So now you need to choose like on which format you want. So now we are reading it into the JSON file, but while converting, do you want it into the CSV file, or do you want the same JSON, or do you want a Parquet file? So when it comes to big data file formats, we have obviously Parquet file, ORC file, Avro file, and ORC, Parquet, Avro. Yeah, so these are now one of the popular big data formats. So we need to understand in deeper what are these formats and why we are using this. So let me write it into Parquet. I'll tell you why we are using Parquet, because Parquet holds in a columnar format, whereas your CSV holds in a row wise format. I'll show you the exact difference between how the data is old in Parquet, and this cannot be read by the human eye. Like it is not readable by us because the data is stored in the column format. I'll show you that later on. So when it comes to the compression, or when it comes to the size, if you are taking any CSV file or a JSON file which is having a huge amount of data in that, so that will be compressed. So a study shows that if you are taking a CSV file, 97% of your data will be compressed. For example, if your file size is 100 MB, when you convert that into Parquet, it will just give you one like 45 MB only. So you can imagine 95 to 97 percentage of the compression is done on that file. So let me show you how to write it. It is very simple. just take that final data frame you have transformed, dot write, just specify the format you want. It may be JSON, CSV, anything. So let me write data frame dot write dot Parquet, and you just specify the path. So let me come here. So the final data frame what we have transformed is named as df1. So df1 dot write dot just write Parquet, and you specify the path. So let me choose a path now. So I'll just specify the path which is inside this first demo. I want a new directory here, that is as output directory. Inside that output directory I want this constructor converted into the Parquet format. So let me copy this first. So my file should be inside file store, inside the tables, inside first demo. Inside that I want a new directory called an output, and inside output I want this data frame to be written in the Parquet format. So let me run this. So it is executing. Yeah, it has already executed. Let me go back and do some refresh here. I need to do some refresh. File store, tables, first demo. Let me choose my first demo directory, and here you got an output folder. I hope you can see that. And here you got your Parquet file. So if you move your cursor, you can see at the end that is dot snappy dot Parquet. That snappy is your compression format and dot Parquet is your extension, and these three are your logs. Because the data is partitioned across the executors, the data, so that's why it is showing you the name called part 00000 in such a way. So this is a Parquet format. Now you feel that, hey, is this a Parquet file? Whatever I have written, is that the same data? So again you can create a new data frame and cross verify it. So you can just take a new data frame name, that is data frame new, and you need to take spark dot read, because we want to read. What you want to read? I want to read a Parquet file. And what is the path here? So the path is the same one what we have specified. Now no need to specify the whole path, that dot Parquet and so on. You can see, you no need to specify this, because inside this output folder there is only one Parquet file. These do not have any extension, you can see. So it will skip these three and it will read only one Parquet file. So let me run this. Yeah, it has executed. Now let me use display and to just show you how your data frame looks like, the data frame new. Let me run this. Yeah, beautiful. You can see, just scroll down and here you can see current timestamp. So this is called as converting your JSON file into a data frame. But I have told you, like converting a raw data to a table. But where is a table? I have not converted it into a table. I will be converting in few minutes. But first I have shown you how to read the data as a JSON file. This, let me write few steps here. Yeah. So let me write it like markdown. I'm using a markdown, and I'll use like first step one that is reading JSON file. Okay, I can call this as reading raw data, raw JSON file. Okay, let me make this as a step one. And step two is we have done some transformation. So let me write this markdown, and let me put few ashes here, and I'll say step 2, adding new column. Okay, so this is your adding new column step. Step 2 is done. Now this is your third step, a simple third step, how to write it. That is your step 3, Step 3, writing data frame in Parquet file. Okay, let me run this. Okay, now this is our fourth step that we have cross-checked it. Okay, we have verified it. So no need to verify in the real time, but for you I am showing you step 4 is verify your Parquet file. Okay, so now I told you like we will convert your raw data to a table, but where is the table? I got a data frame only again, but to get that into a table I show you a simple code again. So where that table will be stored, you can see here in the data view we have databases. There is a default database and there are in tables we do not have anything, but I will convert that JSON file into a table now. So let me come introduce a new step here and I'll say that converting. Okay, so this can be your step 4 actually. You verifying your Parquet can be your 5th step. Okay, let me write it 5 here. So I am converting data frame into table. Okay, so you can do this 4th step before 3rd step also. Okay, it is not mandatory that you need to convert to Parquet and then convert to table. It is not like that. So we have a data frame 1. So for this I am going to convert that into a table. So here I'll write data frame name data frame 1 dot write dot, instead of Parquet I just need to write save as table and specify the table name. So I'll just say that it is constructor file. Okay, that's it, constructor table, and let me execute this. You can use control enter shift enter. So it is executing. Let us wait for a few seconds. Now you are getting something called delta table. So what are these? That are all advanced topics. We will cover that in our coming videos. Yeah, it has executed. Now let me go to data view. In default you got a table, constructor table, right? Let me right click and open that in a new tab. Now in a new tab you can see that you can see this table now. So you got a schema here and some of the sample data. So you can see sample data, and if you scroll on the right you can see your current timestamp, whatever changes we have done on your old data frame you can see here. So these are your column names, these are your data types. So now I will tell you some of the advanced points in this. So in the first step we are reading a file from JSON and we are reading the file from the DBFS, but in real time we will not read the file from DBFS, because why? The data is stored in the Databricks file system. No one is storing a data into this DBFS, they are storing into the cloud. So we need to fetch the data from the cloud directly. That can be your first point. So I need to specify a path of blob storage or your Azure Data Lake storage or your Amazon's S3. If the data is coming from Kafka, I need to give a path of that. Okay, so that can be your first step. So second step is all about transformation. So let me write this. Second step is all about transformation. So this is all done by using pyspark. Sorry, let me write it here. So transformations. Okay, so we are doing lot of transformations. Which language we are using? You can use Scala or you can use Python with Spark. Okay, with Spark. So we will do transformation. We will see in detail what are the transformations we can do, how we can transform your data, how you can clean the data, shape the data, everything. Then finally third step would be you are writing a data frame into any other format. We have done into Parquet, and in real-time scenarios, we will never write that into a DBFS. We have written that into the DBFS one. Here you can see output, but in real time we are not writing in DBFS. This can be again anything. So let me give you an example. You are pulling a data from the blob storage, or you can pulling a data from the your Kafka, and you are doing transformation. You are converting that to a good data frame. You have cleaned it, you have shaped it, and you are writing that again back to your ADLS, or you can write that back to your SQL server. You are storing that into your database. You can do it anyway. Or you, once you create a table, now we have done a table, but I don't want that table into this data view or in this DBFS. I want this table to stored external, not internal. So how to do that? That are all advanced topics. And not only converting to a table, we can convert to any other formats like we have seen here: Parquet file, Json file, and so on. So this is how the E2E pipeline can be built. And one more thing, like I want to continue in this video, like this can all be done in a streaming way, like a real time. So whatever I have done is a batch one, like I have processed only one file, but in real time we may get multiple files at the same time. There were 4 5 files. Now you need to process that, and maybe tomorrow, day after tomorrow, you are getting 4 5 files again. So it should automatically run this code. Automatically your file should be transformed, and automatically your file should store into a table, or it should append that into a table. So for just an example, I have January file, I have processed it. So tomorrow if there is a February file, sales file, so shall I do that again? No, I need to put that into a streaming one. So January file comes, a table is created. Second month's sales table is coming, February. It will automatically append all the records in the existing table. March file come, it will automatically append in the same sales table. April file comes, it will append in the same table. So this keeps on adding. That can be done in a real time. Thank you guys, thank you for watching this video. So if you like it, please subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends. Thanks for watching again. Keep learning.